Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 First at 5.
15 people are recovering after an Atlanta pedal pub crash. Now, legal experts are saying the accident could set a national precedent.
Also today, a live look outside the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington. People have been rallying today after a leaked draft opinion on Roe versus Wade.
It has been controversial, but first,
Michael George, CBS News.
And some companies have announced they'll pay for their employees in restricted states to travel to another state to receive that kind of care.
Happening tonight, Columbia County leaders are considering some new traffic lights. The Georgia Department of Transportation is applying for lights at Fury's Ferry at Blackstone Camp Road. Now, that's not far from where Fury's Ferry connects with Evans to Locks. They're also applying for a light at Horizon South Parkway at John Huffman Way. That is right near Augusta Tech. They'll be talking about these plans in the commission meeting tonight at 6 o'clock.
The driver of an Atlanta pedal pub charged with driving under the influence himself when it crashed, injuring 15 people. That video from Saturday showing the moment it happened. The company also facing business permit violations. But a legal expert says that could be just the beginning.
As Don White reports, the analyst believes pedal pub laws might change, with this crash setting a precedent for the entire nation.
Well, it's a tragic situation, obviously, but something that really is not all that unexpected, given the fact that you have so many people drinking on a mode of transportation in the middle of a busy, crowded street.
11 Alive legal analyst Paige Pate believes this crash could set a legal precedent for pedal pubs, and not just in Atlanta.
I would expect this to lead to tighter regulation and enforcement of the ordinances that are already on the books, and perhaps some cities, Atlanta included, may reconsider allowing this type of operation to even exist.
This video shows injured passengers from the crash Saturday evening at the busy intersection of Peachtree and 14th Street in Midtown Atlanta. Trash and alcoholic beverages littering the street.
The DUI charge is not surprising at all. That would apply if the driver was just on a bike by himself and intoxicated and driving on a city street. Not surprising. It's a misdemeanor offense. There's mandatory jail time involved, even if it's his first offense.
Pate adds the company can also be held liable.
The company likely has insurance, a policy that can cover this, and I would absolutely expect anyone who was injured in this accident to file a claim with that insurance or potentially sue the company and the driver for any injuries they may have sustained.
Pate says the amount of money those injured could get will depend on the severity of their injuries.
Obviously, those who are more seriously injured will likely receive more money. I would be surprised if the insurance company for the pedal pub company doesn't just settle with these people.
He goes on to say if multiple people do pursue a lawsuit, it's likely to exceed the value of the company's insurance policy and possibly lead to financial problems for the company and that driver. The company releasing a statement today saying the safety of our customers is our top priority, so we were shocked and saddened to learn of the situation involving one of the independently owned and operated franchises in Atlanta.
The Shepherd Blood Center is putting out a call for O positive and O negative donations. They say they are in urgent need of those types of blood right now. Donations go towards helping patients right here in the river region at hospitals like AU Health, Piedmont Augusta, and Aiken Regional. If you donate this month at the center or at one of the blood drives, you'll get this shirt. To schedule an appointment, just call the number on your screen. It's a pretty funny shirt. Well, coming up on the 13th, News 12 is partnering with Shepherd to host a blood drive right here at the station. It'll be from noon to 6:30, and there will be free pizza for all donors. You can check it out on our website. There is a link to sign up.
Happening right now, Columbia County holding their internship signing banquet. That goes on until 7 at the Jabez Hardin Auditorium there. High school students are signing their letters of intent, committing to those summer internship programs. Congratulations to all those students getting ready to start those careers. Well done.
All right, wishing a happy birthday to the godfather of soul. We hear from his daughter ahead on News 12 First at 5. Riley?
And we are tracking some strong thunderstorms this afternoon. We actually have a report in Rocky Ford in Screven County of hail up to the size of $half. We'll give you an update on radar and when these storms will clear out just after the break.
Double the juicy beef for just $6. Join Checkers Rewards for a free Buford or Mother Cruncher.
That EF4 tornado that ripped through Bryan County in South Georgia last month was not just deadly, it was also expensive. The Office of Georgia's Commissioner of Insurance and Fire Safety says people have filed roughly 4,000 claims from the April 5th twister. It all adds up to around $60 million in estimated damages.
That damage stretches for miles from the Ellabelle and Black Creek area where roofs were ripped off homes to 10 miles west in Pembroke, where the tornado ripped through Bryan County's courthouse and some nearby neighborhoods.
You just never know about the extent of that damage. They can hit and then lift up, or Riley, they can stay on the ground, as you know, for miles and miles.
Yeah,
that was definitely a long track tornado there. I believe it stayed on the ground for around 20-25 miles, and we had a long track tornado in our county that same day, a couple of them, EF3s in Allendale and Bamberg County, and we are still tracking some thunderstorms this afternoon. Luckily, there's not a tornado threat with them, but still producing some strong wind.
Riley, thanks. Let's take a moment right now to celebrate.
that's right. It is the godfather of soul's birthday today.
Wow, I feel good. I knew that I would.
James Brown would have been 89 years old today, and his legacy still lives on through his music and all throughout our community.
Absolutely. And this morning, his daughter Deanna was on our new lifestyle show called Morning Mix, in case you haven't seen it. And she talked about her family's foundation and the James Brown music program.
It's a pleasure to continue doing this. This is something that my father believed in.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he didn't have the opportunity to go to music school to learn how to read music. That's a God-given gift that he received. But these students get to learn it.
And the music lives on through that foundation. In celebration of his birthday, the James Brown Birthday Bash is coming up Saturday at the Augusta Common, right near the James Brown statue. Starts at 5 in the afternoon, and guess what? It's free.
A fun birthday party for the whole community. It is a mission more than 2 decades in the making, and now, 5 months after the launch, the James Webb Space Telescope is nearly ready to start sending back pictures. That's ahead. New News 12, first at 5.
The Live Ice Services.
Take me back to New York. Take me back to New York. My sweet apple of my eye. The height lights always on. Take me back to New York. Take me back to New York. Take me back to New York.
It's just another day.
Sound of our name.
The James Webb Space Telescope passing another significant milestone at the end of April, and now there's only one more step before those early images of the early universe start pouring in.
Pretty cool stuff here. First alert meteorologist Anthony Carpino is here to tell us more. So, Anthony, how much longer do we have to wait for this?
Only going to be a couple more months. Now, we waited about 20 years to get the telescope into space, so I think we can handle a couple of months, but we are going to be waiting for all of those pictures to come in, because it's expected to be even better than the pictures that we expect with the Hubble Space Telescope, and this is several times larger than Hubble. Now, if you haven't heard of the James Webb Telescope before, one of the things that's so different about this telescope is, one, its size, and two, just how far away it is from the Earth. Now, we have the Earth here in the studio with the moon going around it. Now, let's push the James Webb Telescope out a little bit more, and let's see how far away it actually is. And it's, believe it or not, 1 million miles away from the Earth. Now, that's not an exaggeration. It's actually 1 million miles away, and now we're starting to get all of the mirrors on the telescope aligned, and that was a step that was just completed, and we're getting pictures like this. Now, it may not look like much right now, but these are just the introduction pictures, if you will, and we're expecting more of all of these sensors that are on the telescope to come online over the next several months. They'll calibrate them a little bit more, and then we're expecting the grand pictures to come out of this telescope, and it's able to look way back to the early start of the universe, and we're all excited to see what we have in store for that, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. It's going to be cool. Thanks for keeping an eye on that for us. Over in Columbia, the Riverbank Zoo only has one grizzly bear now. One of the bears, named Sundance, died after his health started to decline. Sundance and his brother Butch have lived there since they were about 9 months old.
Love the names, don't you? The zoo says the brothers have become a guest favorite, loved by so many in the community. They say Sundance was gentle. He loved to interact with his keeper. So a big loss there at the zoo in Columbia.
The South Carolina women's basketball head.
Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent.
From the station that's on your side, News 12, first at 5, continues.
Child hunger becomes an even greater challenge when kids are off from school, but local resources are working to help struggling families.
And the winningest class in Thomas Jefferson Academy history going for another state title this weekend. We're going to hear from the Jags later on, first at 5. But first up, we're watching an active radar today as we track some 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. Summer break right around the corner, and for some families, that means a harder time assessing enough food for their kids.
The past few years have only made matters more difficult. Our Will Rio is live for us now at the Hub to break down some of those challenges.
And Will, the Hub will serve as a local resource for families in need.
Yeah, that's right, Meredith. Definitely a huge resource here. And right now there is a roundtable discussion happening, which will allow a lot of the community to come in and kind of express what they would like to see come out of this massive and giant building that's right here in the heart of downtown Augusta. And one of the more important resources that we will see in the Hub is the community farmers market. And that will only become more important as kids start to get out of school for summer break, because not all children have easy access to food. According to the USDA, 12.1% of Georgia households with children do not have enough resources to provide food to children. We spoke with Golden Harvest, who says they've seen double the amount of kids come in to get food over the past 2 years.
Still see lots of kids to come down, sometimes without parents, just to come down and get a meal. To see the families come in with their kids is very dramatic, but we are here. Each meal matters. We are changing lives every day.
And as this discussion goes on, we will keep you updated about how that goes and also what comes out of it. Coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we explain some of those resources available to some of those families in need.
It's going to be such a great resource for those families. Will, thanks very much. Looking forward to your next report. Quite a sight this afternoon. If you were driving along in McCormick County, that's a plane sitting on the side of the road, by the way. Police tell us the pilot ran out of fuel near Scotts Ferry Road and Clarks Hill Highway right around lunchtime today. The pilot, the only person on board, was able to coast to that landing safely. They did have to tow the plane, but luckily neither the pilot or anyone on the ground was hurt.
A great-grandmother charged in connection to a deadly dog attack will stay in jail at least until her trial. A judge denied bond for Migdalia Guadalupe this morning in court. She is charged with second-degree murder in the death of her 7-month-old great-granddaughter. Her great-granddaughter died in a dog attack back in March. It happened at a home on Columbia Drive where she rented a room. The dog belonged to the home's co-owner. She was also injured in the attack and was arrested after she was released from the hospital.
An Wrdw County family taking action after they say prosecutors wrongfully dismissed their daughter's sexual assault case because she died before she could testify against the man accused in the crime. The family also hoping to use their voice and their daughter's story to enact some change across South Carolina and the justice system. Bowen Turner accused of sexually assaulting Dallas Stoller in 2018, and while he was out on bond for that charge, court documents show he was accused of sexually assaulting another girl. Turner had previously been accused of assaulting a third teenager before that. He pled guilty to a lesser charge in April as part of a deal with prosecutors for one of those 3 cases.
Just a continuous fail on these girls, and it's not just Dallas, it's on Chloe, it's on the girl before.
It's not just one case, it's a part of a bigger picture, so we're going to keep pushing forward to get what we got to get done.
The family starting a petition to urge the solicitor's office to reopen that case, and in 5 days, it's got nearly 7,000 signatures. They're also asking people to call the solicitor's office and flood them with requests to reopen that case.
Emergency services back on the agenda for Augusta commissioners. Today, leaders talked about the city's contract with Gold Cross EMS. The contract ends sometime this fall. Today, they voted for the city administrator to formalize a new contract with Gold Cross. The plan is to come back a week from now with the contract ready for approval. They expect the contract to be more detailed this time around and include higher standards of service for Gold Cross. Today is day 2 of early voting
Center. Well, it's the last day of classes for seniors over at Thomas Jefferson Academy, and those Jaguars are looking to finish their high school careers with a state title in baseball this weekend.
Sports director Nick Proto went out to Louisville today to catch up with the winningest senior class in school history. Nick.
This Thomas Jefferson Academy senior class has won 9 state championships in 4 years. Could have been more, but COVID forced everyone to cancel the spring season in 2020. It all started with the softball team in the fall of 2018. That state title sparked a run that has never been seen before at TJ. The baseball team won a title that spring. In 2019, the football team won under second-year head coach Terrence Hennessy. Then the girls basketball team won in the winter. The football team repeated in 2020, and the baseball team added one in the spring of 21. And this school year, softball, football, and boys basketball have all won state titles, and they're hoping to add another baseball title this weekend.
Kind of challenged our seniors to be great leaders, and they have been. This group of seniors is special. They've worked extremely hard. If you could have seen them when they were freshmen, you would have never thought that they would have accomplished everything that they have, but they've worked extremely hard on the field, in the weight room, and in the classroom to become the great young men and women that they are.
Thomas Jefferson hosts First Prep Christian Academy Friday and Saturday for the baseball state title. We'll hear more from these athletes coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
All right, thank you, Nick. One Aiken County school taking a new approach to help kids fall in love with reading. We'll show you the unique way they're getting students to pick up a book. Next, Riley.
Well, speaking of Aiken, we are tracking a decent thunderstorm over downtown Aiken and on the north side of town towards the interstate. Radar update and a look ahead at that 7-day forecast just after the break.
Riley, thank you. When you're competing with phones and video games, picking up an old-fashioned book can be a rare thing for kids.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get them to do it, but our Will Volk introduces us to one teacher trying to make it easier to grab a book and read.
For 12-year-old Richard Smith, it's about time for a haircut.
My mom really wanted me to get one, and she really couldn't find no good barber for it.
So, after he found out a barber would come to his school, he wanted to get in the chair.
We kind of just got together and said, well, why don't we put this event on? We prayed about it, and here we are.
Schofield Middle School's lead literacy teacher and a local barber came together to put on this event. Students like Smith can get a haircut for a reduced price.
And when they look good, fresh.
And every one of them gets to go home with a free book.
I believe that if we can teach our kids how to read, so many of the issues that we see in our community, the unfortunate issues that we see in our community, like crime, poverty, and things like that, we can start to see a decrease in them.
That's why he's so happy to see all of these students taking their pick from almost 500 brand new books.
It's heartening. I love it. I love it. I love it. The last time we did it almost brought tears to my eyes, but I love it. I love it. I'm grateful.
Smith is too.
Yeah. Like Dyer, your one big kid, yeah, I might take this.
That's what he chose for his free summer reading book. But he says it won't take until summer to start reading.
Probably like on the bus, because I really don't be doing anything else.
And after getting a haircut and a free book, Smith says it wasn't a bad day at school.
Better than almost all my regular days.
In Aiken, Will Volk, on your side.
That is a great day.
Uh-huh.
The organizer says this is the second time they've offered free books to the school.
Kids come home with a whole new look,
Yeah.
a new attitude, and the teacher says they had a great response from students. But yeah, good idea, unique.
A book and a haircut. All right, it's a question that's as old as the smartphone itself. Should you leave your phone charging while you sleep? Coming up,
yeah.
I do too. Why it might damage your phone and how you should charge it instead. Richard, this is some news we could all use.
We're going to learn something. An Augusta therapist trusted to treat veterans, accused instead of mistreating his patient.
He used his position and his power
to prey upon me.
Even after she came forward, the VA allowed the accused to treat patients for years. Thursday on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
The live out.
Dead phone batteries are frustrating, and you've noticed this. As your phone gets older, the battery just doesn't last as long as it used to.
No, but doesn't that happen to all of us eventually anyway? But you can also damage the battery by doing something we all do every day. Jamie Tucker takes a look at the age-old question, when is the best time to charge your phone?
I suppose most people do this. They put their phone next to their bed on charge when they go to sleep. That's going to be convenient. Your phone will be fully charged for the next morning, but it could damage the battery. Here's why.
Most batteries' lifespan is measured in charging cycles. Apple says its iPhone batteries have about 500 cycles before you notice a big difference. Not how many times you charge it, but if you charge it when it hits 50%, that's half a charge. The next time will make a full charge. That's true for other phones because they all use the same battery technology. Overnight, a phone stops charging when it hits 100%. It'll drop to 99% at some point and then charge again to 100. This is called a battery trickle. Over time, theoretically, it'll make up for a few full charging cycles. iPhones have a feature to prevent battery trickle by learning when you go to sleep and when you wake up. You can see this in this graph. My phone charged to 80% about an hour after I put it on charge at bedtime, and then between 4 and 5 in the morning, just before I wake up, it finished the charge to 100%. Now, you should check to make sure this is turned on in your battery settings. Now, Android phones do not have this feature. You can turn on battery optimization, which closes programs you're not using to save battery. iPads don't have the feature either, so battery trickle affects those devices.
Now, a better option is to charge your phone to 100% before you go to bed, take it off charge, and just leave the phone on the nightstand. But here's the fact. If you upgrade to a new phone every couple of years, charge it whichever you like. You probably won't notice a big difference before you buy a new phone. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
All right, I'm going to check settings and figure out what my battery's up to. Apple and Samsung say to make sure the battery lasts longer, you can put it on charge when it reaches about 35% full, and you should never let the phone die out completely, they say, before charging it.
Oops, I'm so guilty of that.
All of it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you're looking for a job, Aiken Regional is hiring for a new freestanding ER, the one going up off exit 5. They're looking to hire nurses, x-ray technologists, medical technologists, patient access reps. This hiring event is from 2 until 6 p.m. Thursday, Crown Plaza, North Augusta. When it opens, this new building is going to be open 24/7. Full service emergency room there off exit 5 should be up and running later this summer.
It is the first set of triplets in 30 years at the medical center in Somerville, and now the hospital is celebrating their first birthday. Here's a look at the party for Michael, Alice, and Liam. Their dad says it has been rough for the first year, but he is excited for the future.
It's awesome to be back where everything started. You know, they spent 21 days at the NICU, and the nurses and the doctors here were amazing with them, and they took care of every little detail.
Now, this was an early birthday. The triplets will officially turn 1 next Saturday on the 14th.
Well, if you have any plans going into your month...
A live look at our nation's capital, where rallies for abortion rights continue tonight outside the U.S. Supreme Court.
We've seen these protests all day long, starting last night, in fact, responding to a leaked document suggesting the Supreme Court could overturn Roe v. Wade. We're on your side with a potential impact here in the two-state.
But first, new at 6 o'clock, new video just into our newsroom showing the aftermath of an altercation involving an Augusta commissioner.
All this happening outside Commission chambers just a couple of hours ago this afternoon.
Our Kennedy Harris was there. She joins us live in the studio. And Kennedy, do we know what happened here?
Meredith, well, a physical altercation involving Commissioner Bobby Williams, Mayor Hardy Davis, and a business owner broke out just minutes after the meeting ended. You can see this video footage here. Now, I only saw the aftermath myself, but I have spoken to many witnesses who've told me exactly what they saw. The man in the yellow is a business owner. He came to support the Augusta Port Authority. The Port Authority was on the agenda because they wanted clarification about the power they have over their own budget. During the meeting, Commissioner McKnight wanted to allow them to speak at the podium, but the mayor would not allow it. They walked out of the meeting seeming upset, and I'm told they waited out in the hallway to speak to Mayor Davis. At some point in the conversation, Mayor Davis was pulled away and walked down the hall by Commissioner Bobby Williams, and then that's when things got messy. Now, we slowed down this video so you can have a better look. Here you can see the man in the yellow shirt and Commissioner Williams arguing back and forth. I've been told the man called Williams a punk and some explicit language. Commissioner Williams then told him to back up. Commissioner Brandon Garrett and Mayor Davis are seen trying to break up the fight. Witnesses told me Commissioner Williams was the one that initiated the physical altercation by pushing the man in the yellow shirt. Then it got heated even more. This video you're seeing is the aftermath of two fights. The two were broken up by marshals and others twice before we got this video. We're also told the surveillance video does not show the man swinging on Commissioner Williams at all. At the end of this, there was very little resolution for what the Port Authority actually came there for. No word yet on if charges will be filed, but as far as we know, the man was not arrested.
Tensions there at the Marble Palace today. Kennedy, thank you for that. To weather now, I'm going to give you a live look outside.
Storm chances in just about 10 minutes.
Taking you back live now to another look outside the U.S. Supreme Court there in Washington. Response is erupting, not just in our nation's capital, but really all across the country after last night in a leaked document suggesting the High Court might be planning to overturn the 1973 Roe versus Wade decision. Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1973 Supreme Court case guaranteeing abortion rights.
Overturning it would mean deciding abortion on a state-by-state basis. News 12's Sloan O'Cone joins us live in our newsroom with more on what this could mean for the two states. Sloan.
Well, it would still take some time. It could be 2 months until the final decision does come down. If the Supreme Court does choose to overturn Roe v. Wade, Georgia and South Carolina have laws on the books that would outright ban abortions. They aren't trigger laws, which means it wouldn't happen immediately. It would still have to go through their own legislative sessions, but experts say they likely would medically ban safe abortions with very limited exceptions. This ban may not protect victims of incest or rape and limits many of the exceptions we see now.
All of those sorts of laws vary a great deal. Generally, they only allow for, say, a hospital panel to argue that the life of the mother is threatened. Someone would have to go through a pretty, burdensome process in order to get a medical abortion.
Mary Kate Lazat is a political science professor at Augusta University. She says the ban doesn't necessarily mean women won't be able to get an abortion. It just makes it more difficult to get one locally.
Overturning Roe and Casey means states get to individually decide, and there's a number of states that are very likely to have complete or almost complete bans on abortion, including Georgia, including South Carolina.
Roe v. Wade was argued on the basis of an inherent right to privacy under the Fourth Amendment. Now this leaked document argues there is no inherent right to privacy within the Constitution. Therefore, Roe v. Wade should be overturned. Lazat says that could open the door to challenging other things.
Makes it possible for states to start challenging other laws that have their basis in this idea of a right to privacy.
Other laws are based on the same argument, like contraceptives, same-sex marriage, and interracial marriages.
This is just the first in a long line of decisions that could end up changing what we have gotten used to as Americans.
Now, I do just want to reiterate there are still 2 months until a final decision will come down, so there is time for things to change. Then, assuming this ruling does come down from the Supreme Court, state abortion bans are not automatic. It would still have to go through their own legislative processes.
And Sloan, I know everyone's watching all of this very closely. Thanks for the update there from the newsroom. Some new developments in a dog attack that killed a 7-month-old girl. Today, a judge denying bond for Migdalia Guadalupe, charged with second-degree murder and drug possession in connection with the death of her great-granddaughter, Serenity Garnett. Garnett died back in March after deputies say a dog attacked her inside a Martinez home. We're told Guadalupe was in charge of taking care of the child at the time of the attack. A pilot okay after an emergency landing in McCormick County today, right there on the highway around noon. We're told the plane ran out of fuel landing near Scotts Ferry Road and Clarks Hill Highway. The pilot was the only person on board and was not injured. Officers were out there directing traffic until a wrecker could come and tow that plane away.
Happening now, conversations about the new hub for community innovation in Harrisburg. We send our Sky 12 drone now. Conversations about the new hub for community innovation in Harrisburg. We send our Sky 12 drone up today to get an updated look at the progress. The hub's soft opening is set for late June. It'll house several nonprofits, all teaming up to help with local healthcare access, literacy, and food insecurity. News 12's Wrdw is there live. And Will, we know a farmer's market kicks off there next week, and you say it could not come at a better time.
Yeah, that's right. This is the perfect time for something like this to happen because summer is right around the corner. It's coming up on us very quickly. So that means kids will be out of school, which means less access to school meals. Now, Augusta Locally Grown will be at this massive and giant hub right here in the heart of downtown Augusta. It's just one resource trying to help feed these families.
LaDonna Moore is the manager of the Master's Table Soup Kitchen at Golden Harvest. In her time serving the community, she's noticed an uptick of families needing help.
On the weekends, we see more families and more kids than we usually do 2 years ago.
More families and almost double the amount of kids coming to Golden Harvest for a meal since the start of the pandemic.
We feed lots of families and kids. Since the pandemic has hit, we are feeding now regular Joe families. I have now feeding more than 20 kids than I usually would feed during the week.
According to the USDA, 12.1% of Georgia households with children do not have enough resources to provide food to children.
Pandemic has worsened the problem that we already had in Georgia.
Dr. Donna Moore is a professor of pediatrics with AU. She says there are resources to help families dealing with food insecurity. Programs like SNAP benefits that give resources to families in need, or the WIC program that helps low-income women, infants, and children up to the age of 5 get food resources.
It's a significant problem that we have in Georgia as well as across the nation.
As we get closer to summer break, resources like the Hub and Golden Harvest will continue to help fill the gaps.
So to see the families come in with their kids is very dramatic, but we are here. Each meal matters. We are changing lives every day.
Now, the Hub says that they will continue to have conversations and roundtable discussions to see exactly what the community needs moving forward. So this is not the only one that they will have. We'll announce when those times come out later. This is just a great resource for these families needing help in this community.
And opening just in time to help so many of them. The need's so great. Thanks for that, Will.
Well, radar has been very active this afternoon. We are keeping an eye on this severe thunderstorm warning in Aiken County. We'll give you a radar update and also a look at that 7-day forecast next.
Plus, paying tribute to the godfather of soul, how Augusta is celebrating the birthday of James Brown. Next.
Time and temp. We're
So it is the day the godfather of soul was born.
Happy birthday, James Brown. Today, the world remembers the godfather of soul on what would have been his 89th birthday. Here's News 12's Claire Allen with how locals are celebrating his memory.
The godfather of soul, Mr. Dynamite, the hardest working man in show business. James Brown's legacy still lives on, and it still feels good.
1, 2, 3. James Brown will never die.
Tony Howard knew James Brown for 15 years and performed with Mr. Get On Up on many occasions.
To have the opportunity to roll with him, to do the things and go to places that he took me, it made me feel proud.
Brown's musical impact on Howard inspired him to work with local music artists as well.
Mr. Brown pulled me in and had me by his side. What I like to do is go find local artists and pull them in to get on the bigger stage where I'm at.
The owner of Soul Bar downtown says Brown used to visit often. He says Brown's music is his legacy.
Oh, James Brown's legacy means everything. It's so much. You know, it's very powerful.
Coco Rubio is the planner for this year's James Brown birthday bash. It will feature local bands, live music, and food trucks for everyone to celebrate.
And, you know, he kind of was almost like an underdog who came from Augusta and became one of the biggest, you know, entertainers in the world.
Both say Brown lives on through them.
You know, you listen to pop music now and you listen to a lot of music, and his music is still there.
One thing I learned from James Brown is respect others and you get respect back.
The James Brown's birthday bash will be this Saturday at the Augusta Common. The party kicks off at 5 p.m. In downtown Augusta, Claire Allen on your side.
We love the way Augusta celebrates James Brown, including this fantastic mural downtown. People might not remember how much James Brown loved Augusta, but he was never on network television without mentioning his hometown.
And what is so great is if you go downtown and you see this mural, I've never seen it without someone in front of it snapping a picture, snapping a selfie.
Yeah.
I love that Augusta is recognized on social media now with this, with everybody posting pictures of it.
And the big bash coming up this weekend at the Augusta
so much fun
downtown.
And hopefully the weather will be good.
Stronger system's going to move through, bring us a better chance for widespread rain, and also help dry us out into our Mother's Day weekend. So lower storm chances by Saturday and looking completely dry on Sunday, feeling lower humidity and high temps only in the low 80s Sunday into Monday.
All right, thank you, Riley. Still ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock, the struggle to find baby formula. We talked to a local pediatrician about what parents can do to make it through the shortage.
The Live by Camera Network is...
It's a problem we followed for months now. Families hunting grocery stores and pharmacies, trying to find formula to feed their kids. Our Craig Allison talked to a local mom and pediatrician today about what they're seeing and the do's and don'ts for parents struggling through the shortage.
The struggle it's real. Brittany Hall works here at News 12, and her baby is exclusively on breast milk. But it's hard to keep up. She's thinking about switching to formula, but is afraid of what switching will do to him.
Not even really a really good backup plan if I wanted to stop breastfeeding. So it kind of makes me nervous that the shelves are empty.
For those worried about switching through generic brand formula, dietitian Daisha McNair says parents can switch between brands.
A lot of the formulas have the same components, it's just different manufacturers. So the risks are really low. The issue comes in when your baby is on a specialized formula.
This is formula made for babies with allergies, metabolism, or kidney issues. Something mom Chelsea Wallace is working through with her 4-month-old.
Going from, different formula to different formula and then switching back and forth with the breast milk, he gets gassy, gets spit up, constipation, whole 9 yards.
Daisha says to try local shops rather than retailers or buy straight from the manufacturer. But in case of emergency,
if you have tried all of that and you still can't find anything, contact your local hospital or your local pediatrician to see if they have samples.
In Augusta, Craig Allison, on your side.
The biggest takeaway is to avoid homemade recipes entirely. Doctors say even a small change in these formulas could send your baby to the hospital.
Happening now in Columbia County, leaders considering some new traffic lights applied for by Georgia DOT. Here's the site for one of them, Fury's Ferry Road, Blackstone Camp Road, not far from where Fury's Ferry meets Evans to Locks. The Department of Transportation also applying for a light at Horizon South Parkway and John Huffman Way over near Augusta Tech. They're talking about these requests in tonight's commission meeting. We'll have the latest on all of this tonight on News 12 at 11.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Thomas Jefferson Academy has become one of the most prominent local sports programs over the last few years. As this senior class finishes up their final week of school, they'll walk out as the winningest class in Jaguar history. It all started with the softball team back in the fall of 2018. They also went on to win another title last fall. The football team won 3 straight state championships, 2019, 2020, and 2021. The girls and boys basketball team each has won a title, and the baseball team has a pair of championships as well. They've also got some more state title appearances in softball, basketball, and golf. Plus, they could have been on their way to a couple more titles before COVID shut down spring sports in 2020. The seniors say all this winning creates a great culture and some friendly competition between the teams.
I know during basketball season, especially for the boys this year, you know, us girls, we did a lot of teasing because they'd never had a state title before, but then they went and won it this year, and it was really exciting.
Now, this junior class has a chance to unseat the seniors next year if they win state titles in 3 sports. And the seniors I spoke to today said they'd be happy to see their record fall, but they want the juniors to remember who laid the foundation for success.
All right, good stuff there, Nick. Love to see success there at TJ. We're looking at a weekend